Hello everybody and welcome to another VOD review. We've got an interesting one. Over the weekend we had some good matches. Obviously we didn't have too many as we had a completely new meta. Lots of new things happening. There was a huge discrepancy in skill. We saw a lot of teams who were previously strong get weaker. Weaker teams get stronger depending on the meta. But two teams that have been at the top and continue to seem to stay at the top is the Florida Mayhem versus the Boston Uprising. And that's the match we're going to look at. It was an absolute banger. I personally haven't watched it all through and true. One of the reasons I didn't cast this match, I was supposed to, is I got sick. I was sick, so I wasn't able to cast, and I was actually asleep. I passed out in my bed while this match was happening. I saw some highlights, I've seen bits and pieces, but I haven't had a thorough watch through. So I get to watch it in real time with you guys, which I'm really excited for. This match actually had some implications because if Florida win, then they are guaranteed top 3. If they lose, then Boston Uprising has the opportunity to take that spot from them. So winning in for Florida Mayhem, Boston Uprising trying to not have to go through the play-ins. We saw a lot of different metas happen over this weekend. We'll talk about them as the game goes on because lots of different metas get played in this match. So let's just jump into it and enjoy it.
I don't think people would have put them at like the top 2, and I mean they've already beaten the Atlanta.
Custa sleeping on the job, literally sleeping on the job.
Very serious title contenders for the season, and they're. I mean,
so I expected Boston Uprising to come in and play Twilight Izayaki a lot more. I sort of talked about this on Plat Chat. I was expecting them to play like Twilight Izayaki and play more of this shooter comp, but we actually seem to have seen a lot more diversity than just playing this like Ilari, Baptiste, Orisa stuff like it was anticipated. Some teams are playing it, as you can see Florida Mayhem playing the Soldier Torb. This is probably the most like, I would say vanilla way of playing the shooter composition. But Boston Uprising playing dive, and there was a lot more dive in this meta than a lot of people were expecting. Almost probably just confidence in playing this composition in the past. How's the sound for you guys? Would you like me to turn the YouTube up just a tad? I can't hear him too loud, but that's okay for me. But I know you guys like to hear the casters just a little bit. Here's some game sounds. Yeet! Later, Lee J gone, and Florida Mayhem just win that out. Just a tad, good for you. I'm gonna give it just a notch so you can hear Jake and Jack a little bit more.
That's incredible. He just runs
So Decay's going to switch off of the Echo, go to the Genji. And the reason a lot of people expected this Orisa, Ilari, Baptiste to be played is the amount of damage that Ilari, Baptiste, and Orisa can just do alongside with like all their damage. It can be difficult to actually get in and dive. And now you don't have the Sombra to hack and isolate a target. People have decided to move away from it for the most part, but Boston trying to make it work. Interesting to note as well, Maka is actually getting some playtime on the Ilari, which, you know, Gumba said when Maka was originally signed that Maka was only going to be a, like, prospect for next year, but I guess new meta, new hero, Maka's been grinding, and he's the player to be expected to play the Ilari, so cool to see him.
Scary thing about Florida's comp, I gotta mention,
But he played very well. You know, Gumba's always been good at recruiting and finding players, so it's not surprising that Maka is a great player. I don't know much about Maka, honestly, so this is my first time seeing Maka play along with everyone else. Boston Uprising seem to just get in on that fight for somewhat free. They're going very deep. Smurf, that was way too deep, especially considering they didn't have the nano up yet. Smurf just dives in. Florida see it coming, just punish Smurf. Okay, so now they get to go in 4v5. Oh, good kill by Decay. Gets RuPaul. He's not going to pop the blade, but he gets punished as well. That's some pretty good trades, but still Florida's trading more effectively. Ooh. We haven't seen... Have we seen Birdring Tracer at all? This, I don't think we have, because Decay's almost exclusively played the Tracer. So it's in... I'm kind of curious to see how good this Birdring Tracer is. Because, you know, even though this might, you know, the playoff race might change and that, you know, this match might not have tons of effects. Was that a rally? No. It kind of looked like it for a second. For the playoffs, you know, if this is going to be the meta or Birdring's going to need to be expected to play Tracer, like, the quality of Tracer play since Birdring was a Tracer player has gone up exponentially, it feels like. So if, you know, they're going to require Decay to play Genji or Echo or anything at that rate, Birdring Tracer's going to need to cut the mustard, but who am I to judge or, I guess, question Birdring? He's stepped up every time he's needed to. Wow, that would have been a sick blade. Oh, wow, he didn't get the pull. That was weird. He didn't get the pull on the Terror Surge. Do trade 1 for 1, though. Dude, blade is such a useless ultimate in this setup. Especially if you don't have a nano.
He chose paste. Smurf rips the primal rage, kills Mucker as well as the boss.
Boston is going to win this fight, but that's 3 ults. That's Blade, that's Primal, that's Rally. Those are big ultimates. And they need to get pretty big value, either out of Birdring's Pulse Bomb here, or Smurf needs to get like nanoed and go deep. One of the big issues for the Florida Mayhem comp, which I'm just going to dub the shooter comp, is that you actually don't have a defensive ultimate, which is a big problem, right? You don't have a Transcendence, you don't have a Sound Barrier, anything like that. You obviously have Lamp and you have the Healing Pylon, but that doesn't really get you through some of these big ultimates. Early dive, nano onto Smurf. Oh, good sleep. Oh my god, so much healing. Yeah, and Decay falls. Yeah, they just pop both DPS ults. Yeah, it just doesn't feel like Boston's gonna have enough steam in the tank. Is that Twilight in the back line? Oh no, Twilight. That should make it hard. Lee J coming back on Lucio, Smurf coming back on the ball. They have no ultimates either. Like, RuPaul's gonna come up to a window. Yeah, it's just desperation. Nothing's gonna come from this. That's kind of what I expected. Like, the dive obviously has some validity if you can execute a quality dive, but I think the biggest problem with playing the dive versus the shooter comp... Oh, that was such a great spear, by the way. I remember seeing the highlights of that. Lee J going gets fucking rolled by the spear. Oh, someone. Stop it, you. Someone's been trying to make an argument for his MVP bid. I think this weekend convinced a lot of people that, hey, maybe someone is legitimate. He's been lauded for his flexibility, his ability to play all these tanks and sort of enable the Mayhem to play however they need to play. So, you know, someone is a fine choice for MVP if this one sold you. But as I was saying earlier, is that like Florida Mayhem, it's an easier comp to execute than playing the dive. I think the dive, yes, if you execute it perfectly, you can get on the back line, you don't enable them to shoot, it can work really well. I just think you're running uphill in a lot of respects. So now we're gonna have both teams coming out with the Baptiste, Ilari, Orisa. Double Widow. I think Widow makes sense. You know, you got a shooter comp. The game's not going to be played fast. Widow can just sort of take over the game. Decay's going to be on the... Ooh! Decay's going to be on the Sojourn while Checkmate's on the Torb, and that's just going to be first fight for Boston. Damn, Birdring. Dude, Orisa just doesn't die. It's actually crazy. Fucking Birdring, yeah, dude. Honestly, I've been saying that ever since 2018 when he fucking world starred me out of the playoffs. That's a free fight win. That's huge. Because these fights can take a very long time to resolve, so the percentage is just going to go up and up, right? We're coming out of like a Winston Sombra meta where fights happen very quickly and very often. Oh, Smurf. Play the game. But these fights can take pretty long to get in, and you can just sort of be relying on someone to find a pick. Ooh, danger. Oh, wow. I thought he killed him for a second there, but he hit the mine. Yeah, like, look at how long this fight is taking, and nothing's really happening. Boston does need to stop them from capping this point. That's a great turret. Healing Pylon by Marker. Because, like, yes, someone can get that from backing up onto the point. I think that's such a sweaty point position for it. You can sort of tell that's why Florida were fighting for it.
I feel Boston just relied on Winston too much. Like, I know Orisa has changed due to the one tank only now. But wasn't Smurf the Orisa player over Super?
I think that kind of... thought process, it obviously makes sense of like, yeah, Smurf was a good Orisa in the past, but Orisa's also changed heavily from what Orisa was back then in the San Francisco Shock days. Did that not hit anybody? I don't think you got much value from that. But I think there are a couple of teams that are getting baited into playing the dive. Like, I just don't think you need to play the Winston. There are maps where I think Winston's valuable, right? Like, maybe your Dorados, maybe your Numbanis, where you need to get high grounds. But on a map like Ilios, I just don't imagine why you're playing Winston. I think the dives are just too difficult. maybe Boston's just not confident in this setup. Like, as I said, I was expecting Boston to come out and play exactly what you were saying. You know, Smurf comes out, plays the Orisa, even have Kalios play the Orisa, Twilight play the Ilari, Izuyaku play the Baptiste. Then you have double hit scan. You have great players in Decay and Birdring who are flexible. Sorry. I think that would be good for Boston, but instead they're putting Lee J Gunn on the Baptiste to give themselves flexibility so they can play the dive. I don't really understand it fully, honestly, myself. Marcus Ilari value, the way that Florida are playing around his Ilari so far as a whole is really good. Like, you can see them anchoring onto his healing pylon turret. They know that's a great spot and everyone's playing around it. That's why you have their entire like backline and all their DPS playing around that turret. Okay, gets Merit. I feel like Merit just hasn't really been enabled. Ooh. Birdring gets Marker though. It's huge. Oh, nice play by someone. The Birdring's just continuously trading. Birdring is Birdring gets 3? All lives? Oh my god, that was so clutch by Birdring. They lose that round 100% if Birdring doesn't. Yeah, like Jake's not lying. That was a hyper carry and a half by Birdring. Like, he had no right getting 3 in that fight. Not even just getting 3. If he didn't get that last one before he gets killed by someone, like,
if Florida get position on point, can drop the window without
crazy play.
Things are looking really rough for Smurf.
Now Lee J Gun's stuck on Lucio, and they're playing Doom Lucio. That's a problem. This is so bad for their comp.
Very difficult right now on this Doomfist. Awkward position for Boston.
They need to hope on some miracles from like Birdring, or like hope that this Doomfist finds value. Or I guess he's found Merit. I'd almost like Merit to see Merit switch for this last fight. Just go Soldier for this last fight. Checkmate gets Lee J Gun. I don't even know how that happens, but. Oh, I don't know about that lamp, RuPaul. Maybe, oh, I think he was worried about getting sniped by Birdring when he jumped up there. The K gets Marker. Yeah, I don't feel like this was very well done by Florida. I don't feel like they dealt with the threats that they needed to, but... Yeah, I think if Merit had just switched, even just switching to a Tracer or something like that, like, I think Merit kind of got tunneled on playing the Widow. If he just saw that they were playing Doomfist Lucio, switch to a hero that would just be able to avoid that and he could play with the team, I think that would have been a much better play.
Doesn't find a kill and Maka goes down at the same time, so you have to think, okay,
so maybe just getting too focused on playing the Widow. Oh, is that a Reinhardt I see getting locked? I want to play Ashe. Ashe is going to have the same problem with the Doomfist anyway. I think you just need something that deals with Doomfist pretty well. Like, make yourself a threat.
This is like a one-man army situation.
Dude, he's got such a flicky aim. Ooh. Oh, dude, yeah, those are some nasty shots. What the fuck?
One of those kills. That round is done. Florida's winning this round. Like, if he had 2 out of 3, it's not enough. Incredible.
It's a power Widow, baby. It's on the trace now, not so much.
Dude, Jake just said what I said.
What is this?
Alright, so now we got Boston playing dive again, while Florida, they're going to the point. They're about to sim TP to the point. I don't know if Boston's comp is going to deal with this well at all. I think this is better for Florida. Because I don't know how... Oh, I like the Ashe switch by Birdring. Just recognizing that you're not going to get any pressure. Marker might be the pressure, honestly, that has to go into Ashe, but these dynamites are going to be huge.
Whether or not you're winning these team fights,
first cap goes to Florida. This is going to take a long time to dislodge them, though.
Twilight as well. They've got to find some sort of opening here on the fight.
Yeah, like, look at those dynamites. They do have the Moira healing, though, which kind of mitigates a lot of that. And it's honestly just going to charge up a ton of coalescence. Almost just a bait TP by that, by someone there. If RuPaul gets up to this coalescence, Boston's in trouble. Decay's getting up to a duplicate, but what are you getting as a duplicate? I don't think the duplicate's going to offer much.
It's going to be tough. Twilight needs to land a big anti here, but someone's been quick on the mark with that shield. Another one. See, back-to-back shield block.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much for money.
Pretty good nade, but not enough. There's the duplicate. Gets the Reinhardt. Oh, wow. He got that shatter faster than I thought he would be able to. All right, that Ryan was actually sick. I was like, you're not going to get shatter fast enough before you lose the 300 health. And then he says no, but yeah, it's still not enough, right? Like, RuPaul not getting shattered in that coal, I think, is huge.
This is a very scary scenario for the
Yo, F's in chat for Rack Attack. Feel sad, man. I'm expecting that for YouTube. YouTube, you guys as well. F's in chat for Rack Attack. Honestly, we all feel for you, my friend. Also, DM Evan, thank you very much for the $5. I didn't thank you for the money. My poor son. So this gets difficult now for Boston. Yeah, they have... Oh, that's a good... Oh, I thought that was a nade. I think you just drop the Kitsune Rush now, right? Marker, do not die. Just drop the Kitsune Rush? Oh, they... How does Checkmate kill Birdring? They nano in instant Blizzard onto the point. Giving themselves some time. RuPaul. Oh, he does fall. I think that Kitsune Rush was too late from Marker. I think he should have dropped that way earlier. Oh! Bit of a whiff by your boy someone on the shadow. Oh, nice wall. Oh.
Stalling time is what Florida Mayhem need. Someone still, of course, he picks up a kill. But it is 99%, Jake. Every single ult almost is
I got you in 10.
I like this nice little farming a little bit extra.
Yo, I like Twilight.
Extra value there because the nano is going to be crucial. You've got
Twilight's out here killing. Ooh, Lee J gone. New tech just dropped. Well, obviously we know this tech, but yeah, let's give some appreciation to the Lee J gun tech. This is hard to get consistent. Ooh, sheesh.
This does make sense. They
My
only
goat.
One retake fight here, and so now with no tracer, no flanker really to speak up for the Boston Uprising.
All right.
This is a scary.
What do you got? DPS ults here for Boston. This is gonna be hard for Florida to get back in. I actually like these swaps from Florida, but it's kind of gambling on finding an effective dive. Oh, they found Twilight. They're kind of relying on the Cole. Ooh, good counter. Yeah, someone's just dead. RuPaul kind of needs to use this Cole because he doesn't want to stay Moira. I don't really like him staying Moira.
Damage all might just give you a Cole Essence. Nice little double kill on the copy. And a free Cole too to boot, I'd imagine, if he gets a bit more damage in. But doesn't look like it. Nice fight win there for Boston.
Someone goes Diva in the end, dude. Someone can't work out what he wants to play here. I like the Diva more than the Winston for sure, but they might not even get an EMP. If this fight takes too long to get into, they might not even get an EMP.
It's going to be potentially a little tough. I think Florida, they really need to find these picks. If those ults, Nano and Rally come up, Boston's going to be feeling very good about this round.
TMP is going to be hard to get off as well.
Oh, he didn't make it. Oh, okay. At least they're on the low ground. Oh, that feels real bad for RuPaul. He didn't make the jump. Boston's playing really well at reacting to what Florida are doing. But yeah, as I said, this fight takes too long. Florida's not even going to get to use their ultimates. They cannot stagger here. Oh, Checkmate dies. They're going to get staggered. This EMP's not going to work. Oh, this feels bad. I like the idea of a mass comp swap, but they needed to... I feel like they never got an effective fight.
I don't really see any hope to win this team fight. You're back in a stagger situation, so Boston brings back two very difficult rounds.
Merit's coming back to with an EMP. Is anyone else going to be able to touch? Checkmate get... Oh, if he caught Lee J gone with that, that would have been crazy. Yeah, I think with the rally, though, there's nothing you can do with it. Yeah. EMP only gets one. Oh.
Checkmate, no recall by the looks of it. Ends up getting headshot by Decay. Only one more person to touch.
Yeah, a bit of a mistake here from Florida Mayhem. Maybe getting a little too cute with it. If anything, I'd rather just see them maybe stick on the Symmetra and get back onto the point. You only need to win one fight, right? Wait, does I see a stat card from Birdring on here?
I mean, he's had some of the best Widow performances. I think maybe
9 eliminations, 6 final blows. Yeah, not bad. All right, let's get to the point, though. It's going to take me a little bit to find these points because Overwatch League hasn't cut this VOD. So I'm just having to look through the VOD to find it, but looks like we got here all the same. Moving over to the Barney. Florida Mayhem, going to play the Sigma comp. And I think a lot of people have been playing a little bit of Sigma. It allows you to play... You don't need to play as aggressively as if you played in Orisa, and allows you to play a lot more pokey. It's kind of like Overwatch 2's version of a bunker comp, right? You got double flex support, you got a soldier, you got everyone standing behind the SIG. It's just a lot of damage, while Boston's going to try and dive it with a wacky comp. I don't like this comp, actually. You're playing a Hanzo that is... You're playing like a Hanzo Ilari that are counterproductive to diving with an Echo. So you're like, and the dive isn't even that good with the Diva. If anything, actually, I think they're kind of playing their own poke comp, which can take some space. So Twilight and Smurf are playing a dive setup where they're like, you're flanking and the Diva and the Kiriko play together. You heal up the Smurf. It makes sense. So they're playing on their own. And then you have Birdring cross-firing with the Hanzo. Decay playing main with his... Honestly, I actually kind of like this setup. On paper, it looks whack. But the way that they're playing it is... smart, right? And Florida Mayhem don't really have any tools to be able to sort of stop them from being able to do it, because you can't force an objective or force a fight playing this comp. So it's really going to come down to who gets the pick first. But because of the way that Boston is setting this up, they can keep juggling back and forth onto this point and starting to get ticks, which is going to put pressure on a Florida. And boom, Birdring finally gets a pick, finds marker. Ooh. K falls. This is going back and forth. Baptiste can do enough healing on their own to be able to keep them alive. Plus, the turret's still up for marker. You saw that on the top left of your screen. Birdring gets another one in checkmate. Ooh, Twilight. Oh, wow. Good hold from Florida, though. They did lose a tick, which matters.
One of the challenges there is, though, even though you get it,
Great Ilari, but yeah, like putting that beacon right there, like it couldn't be attacked by either side, right? The way that they attacked it. Smurf goes over to the Winston. I guess trying to make the dive stronger. I don't think I like the Winston as much. I think at least you could eat shit as D.Va, but the Winston, I think he's just gonna get blown up in a lot of respects. Maybe just playing for that primal rage. Adjustment here from Boston Uprising. They're now moving their Echo Ilari to coast to be able to keep hitting shots. Ooh, RuPaul! Wow, nice shots there from Izzyaki. Oh, that's a good ult. Oh, no, the duplicate! Where's someone? Someone's so low. Oh, he was stuck in the room, yeah. Huge pick on the RuPaul. Yeah, Izzyyaki's kind of nasty with the Ilari right now. This is what I wanted to see. Double flex support. Izzyaki Twilight. Let's go.
Proves too much for Florida. I think they did admirably to just, you know, manage all the threats in that.
That Zen Bloodlust, dude. I was surprised to not see Izzyaki rolling out on the Ilari. Izzyaki seems like a perfect Ilari player. Like, he's smart enough and understands his limitations, but he knows how to play aggressive. While I think Twilight is more inclined to play the Baptiste setup. Ilari, well, actually, fun fact, before we go through here, just so I think, I actually was calling her Ilari, like Ilari, or like however you're supposed to say it, but we actually got a thing from the Overwatch like dev team or the Overwatch League that said that like there's a Western pronunciation that is literally how everyone says it, which is Ilari. So we actually got told like you don't need to say it the like traditional way, and so I'm just going with Ilari because I'm fucking stupid and don't know how to say it the like proper way anyway. So I'm just gonna keep calling her Ilari. But yeah, because I started this weekend by doing it. Jack was like, "No, I don't think we have to do that," because he saw that post. I was like, "Oh, interesting. Okay."
Self-destruct launched in. RuPaul in a little bit of trouble. No, it's just the summons. Don't worry. Buildings are broken. The kill feed filled with summon kills from Decay self-destruct.
Hell yeah, brother Kokona. Yeah, well, it's just like, I think it's just like, yeah, that's what I usually think. Like, I'm like, I would usually expect it in the same way that we say, like, certain other heroes. But, hey, man, if it's going to make my life easier to say Ilari, and that's, they're happy with that, I'm going to do that. Oh, I don't know who you can hit with this. Oh, wow, just insta-blows up Twilight. What the fuck? Smurf is at their spawn. Whoa, this is a weird fight. Touch? Any touches? Florida Mayhem? Touches? Okay, sweet. Trade? That was a good trade by Checkmate. That could have gone really bad. Yeah, this is really bad for Boston. Whoa, Izzyaki. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Merit popped? No way. Someone must have done so much damage to Merit after everyone sort of like pulled away. Birdring visor. Oh, they capped. Nice play. Wow, that was crazy by Boston. That was a gamble play by Izzyaki to pop that Captive Sun. But he ends up finding value with it, right? Like, you end up getting that pick. If you can get one, in my opinion, with the Captive Sun, if you can hit one person and they die, you take those. If you can confirm, just kill one person. Trying to go for those like big 2 to 3 persons or even bigger and expecting everyone to pop is actually pretty difficult to get.
Theoretically, I think D.Va should be very threatening in this type of situation, just pressuring the Winston all the time. We've seen Smurf taking a ton of heat in this comp without like great healers to support him, but he's been managing that admirably well and still delivering for the team.
A lot of us in Florida Mayhem feeling pretty confident in this fight.
Oh, Izzyaki gets got. All right, that's a good window. Slows everything down. God, they min-max the pylon uptime. Yeah, and that was always going to happen, right? And it also, it's not just where they're putting the pylons, so like great play by the Ilari players. It's also, the team is playing around the pylon. And anyone who's been playing Ilari in ranked, or just in general, can agree. One of the most frustrating things is when you put down a pylon and your teammate's like, I'm going to fight over here instead. And you're like, well, fuck you then, okay? Have you thought about that? But you can tell that the teams have obviously talked about this and they're playing around the strengths of their own pylons.
You got Captive Sun, you got everything. I wonder if Smurf can get anything done with this Primal Rage. We haven't seen a Winston juggle an Ilari out of midair.
I like the someone Diva switch if Smurf is going to play the Winston. Like, you're kind of seeing this rock, paper, scissors go on right now. Someone went. Is he going to die for that? That was a big mistake by someone. He isolated himself like crazy. Was he going to live? No, Merit.
Goodbye, Merits. Off the map you go. Checkmate did duplicate the soldier, so
you can understand why Smurf wants to play this Winston. He finds a lot of value. Like, especially if there's not a Brig on the field anymore, right? So I'm sure for Winston, it's like the training weights are off. You don't have to deal with the Sombra. You don't have to deal with the Brig. You can just jump and play your games. And Smurf's making it work when he doesn't just get like blown up in a lot of ways. Or Ana as well. That's a good point. There's no Ana for sleeps and nades.
Get the Diva bomb and just manage the pressure, because we've seen what Birdring does with that visor. Someone, you've got to be ready to stop that ultimate. And
here it goes. Visor ripped. Checkmate on the points. And there's the eats. That Matrix absorbing a lot of that damage, Jake, and there's
Checkmate may actually. Checkmate gets the K with that. How? Dude, Birdring is taking so much damage. Pylon's good, but Izzyaki falls. That's it. All right, minute remaining. That didn't cost Florida an ultimate at all. Look how many ults Boston is behind. Boston's probably not going to get up to another ult cycle. Decay's now on Genji.
With the icicles, the fifth sniper May comes in.
Do you think it's the illusion of the rock paper scissors game tanks have to play? I like the rock paper scissors. I think the idea of swapping is good. I think that's how Overwatch is supposed to be played, and it's supposed to be like this idea of like balancing your ultimates while also balancing playing the right hero, right? I don't really think that's a problem. I would love if there was more counterplay.
Has no hope rather to push out someone.
Because I think it's really cool when you have a situation here where like Smurf started Diva to someone's Sigma, and then Smurf thinks he has to go Winston to deal with the Sigma, and then someone goes, well, the dive's too fast, I'm gonna have to switch Sigma to the Diva, which counters the Winston. Like, I think that's a cool rock paper scissors, and like someone would probably rather be on Winston here versus the Genji, but now he has his ultimate, so he doesn't want to do it in his last team fight, and he can't switch, right? Like, that's, in my opinion, what makes Overwatch great. And I think we don't want to move. I think we don't want to move away from that. You don't want to end up in these tank mirrors all the time.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. There's the wall for Twilight's ult, and there's Marker finds himself.
Oh, Marker. Oh, Marker. Oh, Marker. Oh, yeah, maybe a little bit of an overheat there. I guess the rest of the team was diving. Like, Checkmate's in the back line. Checkmate gets 2. How?
Overwhelming barrage of ultimates from the Florida.
Marker does a little bit of a flank. Obviously, it wasn't just a lone, so it looks like an int because we didn't really see the rest of the dive, but we saw the result of the dive at the end there. Wait, I want to see this. I want to see this again. So Marker wide flanks, and he gets chased, which ends up giving Checkmate this space. Dude, that's such a good Blizzard. Holy shit. He catches the Genji, and he catches the Ana. Oh, wow. That was nice by Checkmate. Really well played.
Okay, on the soldier and the Echo, and then Ilari from Twilight. All right.
Marker carried that fight. Our brains just aren't big enough. Oh, true. Any truths? Okay, so Florida are going to come out playing that bunker comp with the Sigma, playing the Bash, and high damage, right? Like, the question is, can Boston stuff them in the room? If they can stuff them, I don't think they can. There's going to be too much damage. Izzyaki needs to hit a fat nade for them to win this. Yeah, Jake just said it as well. Dude, Jake and I, same brain cell. He hits the nade, but there's no follow-up, right? So now they're losing positioning, so the chances that someone gets picked here gets way higher. Yeah, like, look. Oh, look at this. There's the soldier and the Ilari are just playing with death. And now they got the healing pylon up here. What do you do at this point? Yeah, someone was going to die eventually. Boston is not putting out enough pressure. They're not getting enough kills. People are going to fall.
You know, Bastion's the type of hero where...
Why is Izzyaki on... Yeah, it is interesting why Izzyaaki's on Ana and Twilight's on Ilari. Because Twilight was on Ilari the first map, and Lee J Gun was on the Brig. Oh, it's probably because of this. Maybe they want to go Ana Kiriko. That's probably it. Is that if someone's going to switch, it's probably going to be Twilight off of the Ilari and goes over to the Kiriko. And they want to keep Izzyaki on the Ana. And Izzyaki's a great Ana as well, right? But, you know, Twilight. I'll go.
Speaking about staying alive, somewhat super low. Jeez.
That's a limit test.
Yeah, actual limit test. 50 HP or something like that. I like this comp from Florida Mayhem. It literally is just merit. If you can kill people, that's great. We're just here to support you, buddy. Some love and support.
It's the Mei is interesting because theoretically, right? Because like the way Mei's always been considered as a hero as a whole is that Mei is like the waller, the one who stops rush, the one who stops people from coming through chokes. But I think the way people are playing her, because they're so accurate with her right clicks, like they just think she's a good fighter, right? She's just a good fighter in these like things. If you get dove, you have block, which is one of the best. Like, it's kind of like a Zonya's from League of Legends. Shout out to League of Legends, but it heals you as well. So it's like Mei's just a pretty good hero all in all in this kind of fights. And if you're like a Genji, like Genji sucks against Mei.
Murph, even on the Diva, very survivable hero against Bastion, could be challenging.
She's very self-sufficient. Yeah, that's a great way to put it, right? And then like she can drop walls that may like add value, right? Without feeling like it needs to be this big team wall type thing.
Like the front line doesn't really have 200 HP, right? You got way more than that plus armor.
Like Mei can be a frontliner, right? Almost play as a pseudo tank because she has that block and she has a lot of health as well. 250 health is no joke. Whoa, Twilight.
They're just walking towards the point right now. They just
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get that, Twilight. Oh wow, that was a good grenade. That did a lot of damage to everybody in this room. That's slowing them down.
But they gotta do something fast.
Mock is getting flanked right now. The pressure on the Zen, but both supports peeling back very well for Florida.
Yeah, oh, Twilight.
That's a good call by Jake.
But nice transcendence. All right, it's going to keep them alive for a moment longer.
Oh no. Oh, they just capped. They just capped. I think Boston had to go for a dive like that, but Florida Mayhem, yeah, they're just vibing.
Unsuccessful at defending the actual payload and the point. 5 minutes.
Ooh, Maka.
Honestly, just a masterclass at this comp in general. I mean, you're putting all your faith in merit. Marco Rupel super safe in the backline. Boston just unwilling to commit to one fight or the other.
Yeah, Florida plays the map so well. I mean, splitting.
I can't wait to see what someone does in whatever comes after Al. If we do end up seeing like this mass free agency into whatever comes next, someone's the kind of guy who's not leaving Overwatch, right? Like, obviously we think some players might retire in that situation. I think someone just loves Overwatch. I think someone probably might be one of the highest prospects. Like, maybe Proper. But I think the fact that someone is like a great player to build a team around, right? And that's why so many consider him for MVP, Nanoblade, is like you could build a team around someone pretty effectively. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, Decay, I see you.
Running away all the way back to spawn, and Smurf picks it up. Hey, yeah, we'll call that a delay days. Why not? A team kill, though.
Smurf bombs to remake there? I think he could have jumped off the map. That's a big error. Unless he wants to switch Diva. Okay, maybe he's going to switch Diva. That makes sense. Going maybe to a poke on the Doomfist.
Oh, what are you going Doomfist for, Smurf? What? Hello? Against a Zenyatta Bastion, you're going to go Doomfist?
I think for the Boston Uprising,
Smurf's a psychopath. If he gets value with this, he's a genius. Oh, he's... Like, he can potentially blow up the Zen Bap if he gets on them, but I just don't think against this setup he's ever going to get any space. Oh, Birdering's dead, and now they're in even more trouble. Oh, yeah, what, he made it out! There's no way he didn't die. Okay, he still died. Yeah, okay, I think that was a terrible switch by Smurf. Just straight up, he would have been better off going Sigma or something. Man, he should have mirrored the Sigma, gone anything, Doomfist. I see your Giga Chads in chat. I don't believe it. I think that's a Giga throw. More like it.
This is the first time I think we've seen him in the Overwatch League, and that was a very difficult test. Going up against some of the best dive players we've ever seen.
All right, 1-1. Boston, Florida Mayhem showing their like flexibility in some way, but Boston Uprising playing a lot of weird comps so far. Playing a lot of dive. Dive-centric things with like Winston and Diva, not really playing as much of this like double flex support. It feels like Florida's just punishing them for it. Like Florida also have shown the ability to play these other things. All right, but now we move over to Flashpoint. We got the first look at this mode this weekend. Honestly, it plays pretty interesting. We've seen a lot of different looks. At first, we were sort of questioning, do you need a Lucio to play Flashpoint? And it feels like the answer that we've all been given is yes. Like, your ability to just move as a team allows you to just punish the opposition if you don't play a Lucio. Obviously, it makes sense that you would need a Lucio, but like people were wondering if you could just like play as a 5-man unit and like group up on the point, but I think the Lucio is just going to be too important. So we see Churong come back into the lineup. Lee Jae-gon's back in the lineup. Birdring gets the first pick. Someone's going to play the Orisa. They're playing the Lucio, Kiriko, Orisa, Genji, Soldier versus Boston just playing a dive. Kind of shades of 2022 playoffs. Just no Reaper. They're playing Genji instead of the Reaper. I'd be surprised with how much Genji is being played. But I guess it makes sense with some of the heroes. Like less Winston. Genji's pretty good when there's not a Winston on the field.
Boston, they're fighting the flanks, but they're a little bit scared of the Orisa. Once one player goes down, I think Florida are correct. Like, you lose one to the dive, you don't want to take that fight anymore.
It's consistently been won by the worst team in the series. Has it? It's interesting. Like, we'll play it out. I think it's just because it's so different. I think the idea of like who's better and who's worse, I think that's probably going to be map dependent in this situation because teams haven't had enough time to practice and have an understanding. So it's probably going to be whatever team really understands the grasp of these fights. Also, I think it's worth noting that this map, you know, these maps as Flashpoint can swing very quickly off of one fight, right? So Birdring gets the first pick, right? Let's use this fight as an example at this point. Birdring gets the first pick. That then snowballs into them getting the first team fight because they win a 5v4. And then they get ultimates up because they won the first team fight. So they essentially win the first point off of one pick from Birdring, right? Obviously, there's a lot of other minutia that's happening in these fights. But overall, that's kind of how it played out, right? From a big macro standpoint. So it really comes down to who's in control of the momentum of the map. And I think it's hard to stabilize that in certain situations. Because, like, here's another example, right? So Florida win that fight. They get the cap. And now they go, okay, well, where do we go? Did you just see the Genji's running the wrong way? And now they'll probably get to the point first because they're all alive on the point. They were still wiping Florida. So Florida needs to regroup. So now Boston really has the initiative of where they want to fight. It's cool to see that, like, there's been a lot of fights in OWL that are off the point. Like, people aren't just meeting in the middle, right? Like, if you play ranked, everyone's just generally meeting at the other point for the most part. Blade comes through, sound barrier match, checkmate dies. Churong's sound barrier. What happened to Churong's sound barrier? I feel like it didn't hit anywhere near as many people. Just a little too late. I think it got bubbled off maybe by someone, so it doesn't hit checkmate. Oh, sorry, bubbled off by Smurf, so it doesn't hit checkmate early. Merit also uses the visor, but doesn't get it. So just a better sound barrier by Lee Jae-gon. And that's sort of, once again, them having control of the fight and the flow of the fight. I think this game mode gets solved for another 2 years. I think 2 years is way too long. I think I give it like 6 months until we solve it. While we're here, I brought this up on stream earlier, but I think a lot of people have the same consensus that I think the point should tick up slightly slow. I would say like 20% slower. Maybe 30%, that might be a little extreme, but I think right now it's just a little too fast. It should be faster than regular control, but right now it feels too fast. It feels just way too snowbally, and you're not getting enough fights on each of the points. Because it feels like sometimes the map just ends before it even really feels like it begins. Yeah, and as you said, 2 fights or 1.5 fights. So by changing that a little bit, Churong's getting isolated by the Winston here. All right, checkmate Blade. Oh, nice Suzu. Wow. Checkmate just had his ankles broken. America's Twilight, who's all their healing, though. So now you just need to play your own Kiriko. Lucio, but they lost RuPaul. So Boston, they should be an advantage for this fight. Oh, no ammo. That's not enough. Yeah, once again, Boston, as you said, they win that initial fight, and then they win the stand for law fight, and now boom, 90%. Florida have to run.
Get over onto the Sojourn. I feel like right here in this match with the Winstons, you can get that rail charge up and the
tick up slow when team's not on points. There's a trade-off to spawn camping. That's an interesting idea. But the problem is that might just end up everyone just wanting to stand on point. So it's like you're incentivizing them not to move around the big map, which is sort of the identity of Flashpoint. Yeah, as I said, it might encourage bunker. I think the first thing that they should just tweak, like, I think fundamentally the game mode's cool. If they just change that number, make it tick a little bit slower, that would be the first step to seeing if it sort of like makes it feel better. All right, ultimate coming up again. Decay, okay, Boston is just straight up playing the 2022 meta now. They're playing the Sojourn Reaper. Florida is also playing, dude, everything goes back to 2022. I guess it makes sense. It's kind of like a Winston Rush. Yo, Smurf Primal, he got deleted. Do you see Smurf's health? Look at how quickly Smurf's health bar disappears here. Goes in with the Primal, dive, pops the Primal. Look at his health go down. He lost like 800 health in like a second and a half. I don't know who did all the damage. Might have been the Reaper, maybe some headshots from Twilight. He does come back. Oh, Boston actually gets the first point cap, which is huge. Botrays Winston's. This is, okay, I was going to say this is bad for Florida because they don't have the point, but because they get the capture. Yeah, there you go. Nice visor. I like the Soldier in this setup more than the Sojourn. I think Sojourn's been nerfed so much that I don't think Sojourn holds up in the same way that Soldier does. I also think Soldier can play on his own a lot better. I think the healing pad's nice. Because you don't have that one shot on like Reapers and like 200 HP targets on Sojourn, I just don't think it's a better pick.
He's got his Death Blossom, Rush Blossom, up onto the high ground. Boston Uprising just marching straight forward.
Oh my god, damage. Boston got so low walking into that fight. Oh, special move!
Already killing Lee Jake on. And there you go, the Florida Mayhem cleaning that one up really quick. Any staggers? I think they're maybe trying to look for somebody. Yeah,
they're looking for somebody.
They seem to have lost him.
Wait, are they gonna flank all the way around? Oh, they found. That was smart. That was funny. Good thing Burden wasn't missing. And that's it. Like, if you can hit a lot of rails on Sojourn, then obviously the ultimate, I think, is probably better than Visor. Probably. Oh, wow. I don't even know if he was aiming for the Lucio there. Oh. This is on a knife's edge right now. RuPaul's alive, though. That's the problem for Boston. They don't... Florida has the healing while they don't. They only have a Lucio, and Lucio doesn't do any healing, let's be honest. Yeah, you Kitsune rush as soon as they jump in, and you just have too much damage. Is Boston going to fight for this? They are. Kitsune rush. Oh, yeah, Lee Jae-gon just absolutely disappears. Yeah, you can't fight into the Kitsune rush. Those kind of ultimates are really good on Flashpoint, right? Where you can either drop a tree, drop a Kitsune rush, drop, you know, anything that is sort of like a AoE point control kind of ultimate. I think for these maps, if I'm speaking to a developer, if you have an overhead, it'd be great if they could take off the roofs and like take off the trees. Like, so there's a layer that gets cut off when you do this spectator mode, so we could see better like what's going on. Because this is kind of like unclear what we're looking at. It tells us where the point is, but yeah.
Opening cap on this next point of interest.
Both teams jostling for position right now. Is a little way away, so
I like this in Florida. They're kind of blocking Boston's entrance.
Yeah, Florida's done a great job of getting to the point. Twilight's gonna get the rush first, though. When did Decay use his special move? Whoa, RuPaul gets caught. Oh, that's a bad beat by Chorong. I was going to say that might have been an overcommittal by the backline of Boston Uprising, but if Chorong's going to commit a sound barrier of his own, yo, that's 100% worth it. Bit of a mistake, bit of a mistake.
Capture point taken, and they will win the map.
Twilight really proving his worth there, and I love this forward hold setup here. Very hard to cross these corners with the Reaper on the off.
Double Primal Rage's checkmate special move. I like this fight by Boston. Sort of try and make, because you kind of, what you're trying to do is you're trying to make the opposition feel like they need to use abilities and ultimates to get to the point, right? Oh, this fight broke down. Oh, checkmate got booped off. I don't know if that was a environmental, but he's dead. Merritt's dead. I don't know if Florida's going to have time to come back into this fight. If they can get any more staggers, you absolutely commit ultimates to this. They're gonna give the space, so Florida probably can touch. It's gonna cost them a lot though to get there. Someone might have to primal early to touch the point. Oh, early! I like the early death blossom. Great boot by Chorong though. Someone does make it, checkmate dies though. Yeah, and as I said, it cost them too much. The fight's too disjointed to be able to take like a meaningful fight. This has to be the world's greatest primal rage. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Boston look good. Boston look good in that setup. As I said, I think it's kind of on a knife's edge. It feels, you know what it feels like? It does feel like early push, where when push first came out, where it felt like if you were the team that got the advantage first, then you could generally snowball that quite effectively to like close out the rest of the map, as long as it's too difficult for the team that is at the back foot to be able to sort of make their way back. So maybe increasing the time gives that more opportunities for those type of things to happen.
Yes.
All right, let's skip it forward. On the map 4, going over Esperanza. Feels bad to be Glads watching how Boston are performing. Yeah. You're like, well, maybe Boston will suck in this meta, and then you see them go toe-to-toe with Florida, and you're like, ooh. Ooh. All right, let's see what we got. Are we going to get... Yeah, 2022 playoffs meta from Florida Mayhem. Even Merritt's not even going to play the Soldier. He's going to play the Sojourn of his own, but Boston playing the Queen. And this is something that we actually saw a lot of from a bunch of different teams playing this meta. And historically, Queen has been good against the Winston. So... we'll see. Oh, wow. TP is pretty good. Get in their face. Yeah, and then they execute Chorong. Dude, that is a beaming bird ring. Ooh. Yeah, great play by Boston. Playing with... oh! That knife was nasty.
Gracie right to the dome of RuPaul, and here comes the swaps for Florida. Checkmate on to the May. If
it's Reaper meta again, dude, check, lads. Get into Reaper meta. I don't think it might end up in a Reaper meta, right? I've sort of talked about this on stream as well, and I see a lot of people lauding how they're like, this meta is perfect. It's the perfect meta. We're seeing so much diversity. We're seeing so much skill expression, seeing so much team identity. But this is just what happens in the first week of a meta, right? It'll eventually boil down, and in the playoffs, it'll probably simmer to map-specific comps, and people end up playing somewhat of the same thing. It's cool to see the variety right now, but I don't expect this to stay this way forever.
Birdering gets the kill with a turret on checkmate. I mean, I'd blame Chorong there. He did walk through the choke point without a...
like, even now, you're starting to see something simmer to the top. Like, the 2022 playoff comp, when you need to play speed, the... like Sigma Baptiste Ilari or Rissa Baptiste Ilari setup, if you like can play slow. This Jungle Queen is an interesting idea. I'm curious to see if it has longevity. What the entire rest of the Boston Uprising squad here, you just have Smurf flanking around behind them. Great TP to get him out of that fight. AJ going sound barrier. Oh, Max. I think you just rip it here, right? Smurf doesn't really want to pull it. Yeah, I don't think you can at this point anymore. I like how scrappy Florida is. Yeah, I think mainly led by someone who plays the tank, right? I think someone is the primary player who is like, he changes his hero into something that makes it scrappy that he knows his team can probably adapt to better than other teams. Especially considering his Florida only ever really, well, other than Maka now, play with 5 players. So they can really play anything at any moment. Whoa, Birdering just went to the moon. Yeah, wow, that was... I feel like this Symmetra it's time to give it up. Yeah, it's time to give up the Symmetra because I think it's... the surprise factor of the Symmetra is gone now.
The Sojourn matchup, I think we kind of all knew the series was going this direction. Birdring says he knows he can...
oh, no. Guys, we might end up in 2022 playoffs meta if we keep seeing this kind of shit. Especially if you're going to play Flashpoint and push, like, that comps, maybe on hybrid, and like maybe we'll see rush on control, but we might go back towards this like sort of rush meta.
Window from Boston Uprising, forcing Mayhem to back up. No
So a pretty easy disengage there from Florida. Come back with your own rush.
They're on the low ground. It feels like they can't open things up from here.
Yeah, dude, if it ends up... Bro, back to Reaper meta. Maybe Junker Queen is playable. Dallas Fuel 2023 champs. Back to back, baby. Dallas fans always saying I'm hating on them. I'm predicting you guys for a 2023 championship, baby. My jersey's on the wall. Wait, you guys... My jersey's on the wall again. I'm a believer. 2023 Dallas Fuel to the moon.
A beautiful wall from Checkmate again. It stops Smurf right in his tracks. That rampage only
I'm just giving them some belief.
Someone with the primal rage finishes up the rest.
Dude, Checkmate's yeeting snowballs, kind of wild.
Stopping Smurf in his tracks. Checkpoint unlocked for Mayhem.
Guys, I'm feeling a map 5 coming on. I'm feeling like Florida is playing so well here.
Yeah, Florida looked really good in this setup. I wonder if Checkmate's going to switch off of the May. Now that we're in a Miracon from Boston, if Checkmate's going to switch off the May or if he's just going to stay on the May because he's getting value from it right now, right? Can't argue with that. But I think you might need the Reaper damage against the Winston and certain other things.
Chong 10% away, but you've got to be careful of Merit though. Overclock in hand and high ground in control of the Boston Uprising or the Florida Mayhem right now. Decay in trouble, got walled off, but there was a sliver there of opening, so he did manage to get out alive. Now high ground.
Merit overclock, sound barrier. Sound barrier. Okay, yeah, that was a late one from Lee J Gun. Well, Merit's in a bad spot now. That was a great boot by Lee J Gun. Ooh, Twilight! That disruptor shot was actually phenomenal.
No one for the Boston Uprising looking at him. Free damage down by the Sojourn. You've just got to look at Merit. Stop letting him free fire and railgun your backline. Smurf is dead. Someone is just running rings.
Yeah, Merit's 15 kill streak. He is just...
Much aggro as he possibly can.
He's just everywhere.
Free shoot.
God, Merit is
Personally, I'm taking Florida over Atlanta in this meta. Yeah, I don't feel like we've gotten a great gauge of how good Atlanta is yet. Obviously, because we haven't seen him play against a top team. But yeah, I think Atlanta is, obviously, and I think everyone's saying this, Atlanta's a lot more beatable than they were in a Sombra meta.
Okay, overclock down. There's Twilight with
Who gets birdering off the bat?
Near the point, but someone with the primal rage. Is Boston going to be able to clean this one up without Twilight?
Oh, good ult by Decay. All right, that cost Boston a lot though, right? What was that? That's Primal Rage, Death Blossom, Kitsune Rush. Yeah, Checkmate just cheeky snow.
For the Florida Mayhem with ults to spare.
I feel like Florida, they're all going to get forward spawns. That was a fight. Very, very well played. They only used Primal Rage that fight.
Yeah, that's it, right? Like, Jake hit the nail on the head. Someone only used Primal Rage in that fight, so now they have so many ultimates, and we know how lethal Checkmate has been, you throwing these blizzards in their direction.
Is always a threat, even if there's nothing to back it up. You sometimes don't need any more than this guy on the Sojourn.
But Merit is built up. Here's one. That was like 70% ult charge in one fight from Merit, even though he went down. All right, he's going to rip it. There's the rush, though, to force Birdring all the way back. He used the slide to get away, and look at Checkmate.
Oh, he's in it. The yeet again. Checkmate, May. Dude, Checkmate. Is May a great pick, or is Checkmate just goated? Is Checkmate just goated? He might just be goated. It's hard to know.
Threat to take down. It is Birdring, who's been just on fire.
Shadmate is back.
And they throw 2 ults, 3 ults in fact with the
Checkmate. Oh god. Because he's making the May look really good in this setup, and honestly, it makes sense. Decay switch over to the Tracer. Don't like that. I don't really like the Tracer switch at all. That feels like a comfort swap from Decay rather than a good hero swap. I just don't think Tracer gets value in this meta. Yeah, sorry, in this fight. Like, the healing is too much. The grouping up is too much. You can die to a Kiriko, you can die to a May, you can die to a Sojourn. There are so many threats that you have to deal with at all times.
The Boston Uprising again with approaching the final corner on Esperanza now.
Florida is so on point right there. They made the read that EJCon didn't quite have the beat. They go in right off the rip with theirs, and EJCon instantly dies. Can't get his ult up. Another team fight for Florida. Masterful execution.
Someone's going in, and if you don't know Winston's going that deep, you best believe.
Oh, the boot. Great boot by Lee J Gun. And Lee J Gun's holding onto the sound barrier. I think you don't fight into the rush if you're Florida. You're more than happy to make that trade. Oh, someone, do not die. Oh no! Lee J Gun with a feed Jagon! No, bro. Why was he so deep trying to rip that shit? Oh, it doesn't even matter. What? Do we get a replay of that?
A nice little Ajax, a cherry on top, if you will.
That's the most painful Ajax of all time. Where
wait, show me the replay. Do we get a replay?
That's rough.
Forward spawns too, Jake.
I assume we're gonna get a replay at some point.
Are the Boston Uprising going to be able to push this bot? They got Russian 2%.
That was the most Lee J gun Ajax I've ever seen. The man was just in it. Oh, Smurf's in trouble, yeah. The rest of his team just isn't there to follow him. Like, what the heck was that?
Slowed up by checkmate, and that's it.
Decay on the signature tracer.
Oh, yeah, I just don't like this tracer pick at all.
So many heroes are going to be able to one-shot your tracer.
Yeah, dude, Jake and I have the same brain cell. Literally.
What is Lee Jagon doing?
Grand Theft Robot. He's out of there, man.
He got
No way.
1 HP.
Okay, 7 redemption. Schmoobs from Lee Jagon. Respect the Lucio.
Well, he did kind of buy a little bit of time
That's
there for the Boston
value.
Uprising.
It was sick because Jake stole my brain. Yeah, maybe.
So many ults for Florida. I don't even think they need to worry about pushing bot here. You're on defense for Florida Mayhem. You don't even need to initiate if you don't see the great opportunity for it.
I mean, this is 2 or 3 fights, right?
Yeah, I think if you're Florida, you don't need to do too much here.
A minute to go, and they got 4
I think you just like poke around, look for a big ultimate, but you don't need to force this fight by any means. Yeah, there you go. I think overclock once they've dove. I like this. Oh, I think now this is a commitment. Merit's stuck on the low ground. You guys, they need to help. Saving Private Merit right now. Wait, Boston's just going to ignore it. Oh, I actually kind of like that swap, but the beats just... Lee Jagon's had a bit of a feeding map. Lee Jagon's had a bad map. I like the idea by Boston. Oh, they know. I think you just chase him here, right? Yeah, you just chase Decay. You have people that are actually fast enough to deal with him, and you don't even care if the bot goes back. You just need, yeah, you just need to win the fight. Yeah, he. Oh my God, Churunga was did the sound, the pulse bomb. That was really smart. And even because of that as well, the bot is like far away from the Boston Uprising. Dude, Lee Jagon, bro. You know, I don't like to put blame on certain players, but Lee Jagon has had a stinker of a back half of this map. Lee Jagon, yeah, just speedrunning next. He literally just said GG in team chat at like with 4 minutes remaining, and then he just ran it down mid. Dude, can I see this Ajax? Are they gonna send it to anyone? Know if they show you this replay?
Map number 5, Jake.
Map 5, a lot of this here. See the
right. And the Florida answer. This is
Tragic. I wanted to say it. All right, we go over to Dorado. Someone made a good point. Who was it who made the point? I think Crimson made a point. Escort is not a good map type to be last. I think I would rather see Push as the last map type because Escort generally isn't that hyped. Like, very rarely do you end up in these big hype moments. They're usually pretty flat of like, one team has an advantage and the other team's trying to catch up. I think Push is pretty hype. I think for all the flaws that people say Push has, and I agree with some of them, it can be fucking hype. There's some crazy overtime moments. There's very back and forth. We've had some hype as fuck moments on Push. I think it'd be cool to see Push be map 5. Yeah, Dorado map 5 is just kind of like...
And so for the Boston's comp, this puts a lot of pressure on Twilight to frag out.
So hopefully this is something that can be changed. Like, and I honestly, I don't, blame Al for this kind of decision. Like, I think that makes sense to put it here, but you don't really notice it until you get into these map 5 bangers and the map 5 ends up not living up to the hype.
Florida, they played this before. Okay. I've seen this before from Florida. They love this bat brig. We're pushing the court all day. What are you going to do about it? That's what this comp is asking Boston Uprising. Very rough for Smurf to contest. Echo, Diva, Bat.
I think the Widow is a great threat added to this Bat Brig as well. Because they have a lot of pointed healing and they can do a lot of healing. But Boston can't play as aggressively as they want to because they have to respect the Merit Widow. So it kind of like plays in tandem of like, Florida don't have as many offensive threats playing this comp, but they do have the offensive threats from the Widow, and Bertering's playing a soldier, so he can't even poke things down out of fear of the Widow.
said, no traditional flanker on their side. You can maybe throw a couple of try shots, a Helix rocket, but like Merit is very okay.
Ilari,
He's
Ana.
as safe as anything. Oh, nice. Oh my god, how did Soldier get away from
Oh, wow.
Birdring survive?
I think he just ran into sticky bombs.
Walked over the sticks there.
Right.
It's sometimes hard when they're on the ground. You know, you're looking up and
No, Twilight?
coming in for the punish.
Yeah, okay.
One mistake will cost you against a team this quality.
The Dragon. Oh, Birdring. Oh, he still dies.
That's really sad that Birdring died.
The tree. Nice aim.
Dude, Twilight is just fucking nasty with it.
To hit the 360 sprints as Soldier, but Birdring going down there is kind of painful because, you know, I think Florida, they are
A Lip versus Merit Widow duel. Personally, I take checkmate over Lip. This needs to be stopped, okay? And I'm sorry, I'm going to use you as a prime example. People need to stop discrediting. Oh, you meant Merit, not checkmate. Okay, I thought you were discrediting Lip hit scan. I was about to fucking explode, okay? I was about to lose it because it's not just you. This is a take that a lot of people say. Because Lip has only played Sombra this entire season, it feels like people forgot that Lip was one of the best hit scans in the world. Even on last year, when Shanghai Dragon sucked ass and Lip was on that team, he was solo carrying on Sojin. Lip is still, to this day, until proven otherwise, one of the best hit scans in the world. I agree with you that Merit could take Lip on the Widow duel. It'd be interesting to see, and I hope we do get to see it, but none of this Lip slander.
with an advantage. So far, though, Merit has not found those opening picks. You really need something out of Merit right now. Although that
Just because Merit has played Widow this year, the only reason Merit played is because he's not a very good Sombra. It's not like Lip isn't, it's not like everyone else isn't playing Widow versus Merit because Merit's just better or anything like that. People just don't do it because it hasn't been the best so far this season. So,
defense matrix stopping a lot of those try shots from actually landing, and now Decay a little bit scared of Merit. At least with that extra
Lip's scared of a better player. You heard it first. Lip is scared. Checkmate goes down. Oh, this push by Florida has not been great. They just kind of really deal with the damage. Like, there's a lot of damage. And I guess Merit found a single pick on the Widow? I guess he just killed one. But Merit's not really finding the value he needs to on the Widow. Call me old-fashioned, but I'd take Arns over both Lip and Merit. That is an old-fashioned take, but Lip was at one point. Oh! That was actually the filthiest 3K. That might have been one of the filthiest 3Ks we've ever seen in our. And this is why Merit is in that conversation. Look at that shot on the Echo duplicate as that's a jump shot going into the angle. Then fucking hits a 360 thing. This is the best shot though. That shot has no right being that filthy. This 3K, oh, Merit hit another filthy 3K on Rialto, right? Like, here's the thing. I hope we enter a Widow meta to see if Merit can prove these frauds wrong that he is the best Widowmaker in the world, but ever since Merit's been in the league, he's been one of the best Sojins. We know he's probably one of the best hit scans, but he hasn't really been able to cement himself as one of the best, right? So until we have a duel like that, you know, he's definitely getting the better end of the entire Boston Uprising. I guess they're not playing Widow, but
DPI just spinning on the spot too, still hits the headshots. And now High Ground's in control of the Florida Mayhem 2.
Wait, where is Birdring going? Where is Birdring going? Wait, how did Birdring not die for that? That's actually crazy. Birdring didn't die for that. Oh, someone nice hit on the Twilight Sun. No, not Twilight Sun. Captive Sun. I can call it Twilight Sun if it's Twilight using it.
Is going to come in from checkmate, so if he can get a primal rage,
the rally's just kind of hard to deal with here if you're Boston. Oh, Choron gets naded, goes down, huge.
Oh, there we go. Smurf, just finish this one up for you, buddy. Alrighty, there you go. There's the dive. Oh, redive though. Merit, someone up your Smurf. Not sure how that happened, but it should be the
Shy Merit MN3. Oh, all right. We are not having this conversation. We're not going to go down the hit scan rabbit hole, chat. We're not going to go down the hit scan rabbit hole because it goes to exactly what we're talking about is Shy has been great at some point. MN3's been great at some point. We all know they're great hit scans, but we haven't, it's impossible to gauge how these players match up against each other because we haven't, sadly we haven't been in a good hit scan meta in a while, right? The only reason we really like, because Sojin isn't really a hard hit scan either, right? She's kind of a weird hit scan. So like the reason MN3 people rate MN3 so highly is because it's like his Ashe has been popping, right? But that's just because he's one of the few people who actually play Ashe, right? Jester is better than Matt Widow, true. Bunch of frauds out here.
But now you got to be careful. I mean, Mary's got such a good angle to look up onto that high ground there because
that was alpha by RuPaul.
To heal his Winston. And the payload, Jake, it's moving.
Dude, Decay is on Tracer again. I don't think I like the Tracer, but yo, honestly, Checkmate's on Tracer as well. So maybe it's just good on this map because of all the flank angles.
Sure, it's okay. He doesn't die, but this is the cart rolling.
Tag buys for Birdring. All right.
I don't think he's getting anything with this. Maybe Tracer?
No, his the recall was in cover when that happened. Chilling. All good. Oh, Decay's in trouble though. No blinks. Oh, no blinks. One left. He's gonna get hounded down.
Oh, he's in trouble. Yeah, I feel like Decay's just getting... Like, Decay is just... He doesn't have anyone to follow up his damage, and he just keeps getting hunted. Like, as soon as they get an opportunity to hunt Decay and he gets in the back... Oh, wow, I'm surprised that shot missed.
Twilights with the outburst there to try and get some positioning on the...
Don't do it to him. Honestly, the body shot, you take that body shot. Oh, nice. Dude, he's... Now what? Oh, God. Now what? Turns into a primaling monkey. Ah, yes. That's fair. Yeah, Decay's dead again.
3 kills in the fight. Self-destruct goes off. There's the point. 2 minutes to go for Florida as they push into the factory.
Where the fuck is Birdring going? Dude, Birdring, like, that's the problem with playing Soldier when you're not playing the rest of your team playing the flanking. Is like, I just don't think you can play that flanking style. Hate the Sombra swap. I think Sombra is just hot useless. Okay, someone goes Sigma. But okay, there's a lot of swapping going around the place. I like the Boston swaps. I actually really like the Boston swaps. I think these are the right swaps. I don't know who wins in this matchup. I think it might come down to how much damage Birdring ends up getting done. Because the Bastion's just going to put out so much more damage than the Hanzo. But the Hanzo has that one-shot capability. Decay's dead again, dude. Decay is really struggling in this series now. Oh, they're getting snowballed out here. They know where the Hanzo is, dude. Boss is just getting staggered. If Birdring falls here, it's so bad. Oh, I thought he shot that into a deflect. Woo! That was yeah. I think Boston kind of fumbled there, and Decay making some mistakes. They're getting disjointed, and Florida Mayhem aren't falling for it, right? Florida Mayhem aren't taking the 1v1s. They're not feeling like they need to like take these duels on the side of the map. They're just playing as a unit and dealing with each one individually, and just playing around the superior healing and damage that they have with the Baptiste Ilari. Is Genji good in this? Genji can be good, but the way that they're playing it is not good. I don't think if you're going to play Genji, he needs to be a flanker. I think he kind of needs to be like... He kind of needs to be like the executor in a lot of ways to get those dash resets. Yeah, I'm with you, Doc. Like, I don't know where this meta is going to land. I think it'll come somewhere map specific.
I mean, when a player does something like that, it just sparks something in your whole team. Everyone starts to believe. Sometimes it's threatening. We needed this. We needed this.
This is what I've watched.
This is the right way. The right way.
Oh,
Widow on Widow.
Alright, Birdring taking the Widow duel. Fuck it. We ball.
Merit, that's the question.
Pretty similar comps in a lot of respects.
Well, Jake. It's pretty tough to rock that boat. We'll see if Birdring can do just that.
Birdring has come in cold time and time again, though, and still delivered. So I think this can go either way.
Yeah, Birdring does have the ability to just turn that shit on every now and then.
Not sure where Birdring knows where he is. Ooh, just the tootsies of RuPaul. Seen that?
He saw him, I think. Oh, he didn't see him. He didn't see him.
I'm not sure.
He doesn't know where Merit is.
You have this, like,
oh, yeah, Merit's out though.
So you're going to be able to see the feet of the Widowmaker before.
Oh, he didn't go high enough. Ooh.
Tough for Birdring, but it doesn't look like Florida Mayhem are going to back up.
Like Genji being viable, yeah, I think Pelican played really well. Did Pelican play a lot of Genji or Echo? I think he played a bit of both, right?
A big advantage in that opening section of the map. Here, though, defenders should have the advantage. Didn't matter to Merit last time, though, so can go either way.
Merit was warmed up fully. Yeah, it's kind of hard. Like, Merit's feeling himself already, right?
Merit back up onto this large high ground. That is
Twilight is very far forward.
Yeah.
Frankly, Twilight showing inexperience on Brig there. Like, that's a mistake, and that is going to be painful for his team, not having Lee J gone in.
Especially with Winston seeming to feel like he's going to be meta, just because of the tempo that he can provide, like, or at least on some maps. That's really good for Houston Outlaws.
Proc your heal at all times. She's not too threatening to you on Brig. So I think it's
Twilight Brig is not in. That's the problem with subbing in double flex support, is that, like, it can be difficult to, like, have the flexibility that you need to have.
Almost had that body shot on Decay. I think there was an Ana shot on Decay as well, so that could have been an insta-kill.
Birdring has no idea where Merit is.
No headshots just yet for either Widowmaker on each other. It's just been a battle of who can kill the supports. Birdring goes for another grapple. Oh, Merit is just...
Excuse me? Excuse me?
Finally, he is shut
Bro, like, what do you do against that? No, then Nano, don't do that. That is absolutely not what you do. Izayaki. No, bro. No, Smurf! No! 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 Your two dive tools, they just threw them away.
Boston is flailing here on the
Yeah, that was just bad. Now you're kind of relying on Birdring going sicko mode. Twilight's not even close to a rally yet.
from Birdring. You're praying to pop a Birdring right here if you're a Boston.
Yeah, literally, they just need Birdring to go crazy.
No advantage.
Where the fuck is Birdring? Oh, there, he's man.
Here we go. Who peaks first?
Like, they just can't deal with him. Like, they need the Echo to go over the left wall. I think that's what they need. Decay needs to go over this left wall.
Right now.
Because Merit's just playing Kovacs over here, and he's just putting out damage. Like, I think Boston are lost. Boston have no idea how to deal with this from Florida. But now Decay and Twilight both use their ultimates in a disadvantageous fight. Oh my god, okay, it might actually work. No, Merit, don't do it to him. Merit, don't do it to him. Leave them alone. Oh, it's gonna be someone who does it though. Alright, that cost Florida everything to stabilize, but I don't even think Boston's gonna get another round.
Yeah, I feel like this comp from Florida.
Ooh, Merit.
Boston are so desperate every time they find themselves in these static places where they're just trading damage face to face.
Arch of Doom, yeah. Dorado's historically a very difficult first point to attack for this exact reason, right?
Also,
Twilight's like, I'll do it myself.
No, Merit spots him.
Oh, Checkmate gets Izayaki while he's going for it. Someone gets Birdring. Decay needs to kill RuPaul. He gets him, but he dies for it. Oh, man. Boston just looked lost on that final map. Vote me for MVP. Dude, someone MVP bid. Doing his best to sell it.
Dude deserves it. What a humongous W at the very end. Just the strength and fortitude to come back in that series. And just, like I said,
oh, someone, what a character. Speak your shit, King. Yeah.
And their strengths,
and the Florida Mayhem end up winning the battle over Boston, securing themselves a spot in the playoffs. They end up locking in top 3. Boston are a formidable opponent. They went toe-to-toe with Florida playing a bunch of different compositions. But as soon as Florida threw that, like, Bat Brig on Dorado with a Widow, obviously it's kind of skewed because Merit was just going sicko mode on the Widow, but it didn't feel like Boston had the answers that they needed to have. So that could be an issue moving forward. Boston don't have the flexibility they need to be able to go deep in the playoffs. Maybe we just start that narrative now and see if that ends up being right in the long run. That's going to be it for this VOD review. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate all of you. It's good to be back, not feeling like shit from being sick. I'll be back casting this weekend. We have the last regular season matches. Keep an eye out for those. Love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time.